Hello everybody, welcome to the next video, and in this video we want to talk about training each muscle group with a twice per week workout frequency. So as we have talked about in the last videos, weight training frequency can typically be divided up into three groups. The first there is the low frequency, which would most often mean training each muscle group just once per week. And on the opposite end, we have high frequency training, which most commonly refers to training each muscle group 3 times a week. And the final workout frequency that we will talk about is the one that lies right in the middle of those two extremes, which is training each muscle group twice per week. The question is this frequency the frequency that will work best for you? And to answer that question, let's look at the most common example of this frequency in action. So, one example split would be Monday upper body, Tuesday lower body, Wednesday off. Then again, Thursday upper body, Friday lower body, Saturday off, Sunday off. So this would be an example of the classic 4-day upper lower split, which is the split most commonly used with this frequency. And as you can see, each muscle group and body part is trained 2 times per week. This means that each muscle group gets trained once every third and fourth day, which makes this a moderate frequency form of weight training, and this is especially true when compared to the previously mentioned once per week frequency, where each muscle group gets trained only once every 7th day, and the previously mentioned 3 times per week frequency, where each muscle group gets trained every 2nd or 3rd day. But before we can continue, there's a very important point that needs to be made first. Because this frequency is in the middle of the other two, there's actually another way it can be set up where the frequency still remains higher than the first and lower than the second. It's the frequency where you end up training each muscle group about 2 times per week, rather than exactly 2 times per week, like in the example split I mentioned earlier. So training each muscle group about twice per week. Here's an example of exactly what I mean when I say about twice per week. An example split number 1 would be week 1, Monday upper body, Tuesday off, Wednesday lower body, Thursday off, Friday upper body, Saturday, Sunday off. So we only train Monday, Wednesday, Friday, upper, lower, upper. And then the next week we start with Monday, Wednesday, Friday, lower, upper, lower. Yeah. So this would be one example of how we could organize such a split where we train about twice per week. The next example would be the split number 2, which I will describe now. This would be Monday chest, shoulder, tricep, Tuesday back, bicep, Wednesday off, and then Thursday legs, abs, Friday off, Saturday we begin with chest, shoulder, triceps. So we train Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and we make a 3-day split. The week number 2 we continue, just Monday would be off, then Tuesday legs, abs, Wednesday off, Thursday chest, shoulder, triceps, Friday back, biceps, Saturday off, and then we again Sunday legs and abs. Yeah. So the split number 1 is the classic alternating 3-day upper lower split, the 3-day per week training and an upper lower split, and the split number 2, which I mentioned, is a rotating push pull leg split done over a 5-day span. Yeah. So both of these splits provide an example of each muscle group being trained about twice per week, meaning each muscle group is trained 3 times in 2 weeks. This means that each muscle group gets trained once every 4th or 5th day. While this is a slightly less frequency than the exact twice per week frequency I mentioned earlier, where each muscle group is trained every 3rd or 4th day, this is still right smack in the middle of high frequency, once every 2nd and 3rd day, and low frequency once every 7th day. And for this reason, I like to consider any workout frequency where each muscle group is trained somewhere between once every third day and once every fifth day, a part of the same moderate frequency group. Meaning if each muscle group is trained between once every third and fifth day, I am classifying it all in this same twice per week category from this point on. So how would I make a twice per week training frequency work? The key to making a training frequency of twice or about twice per week work is really a combination of what it takes to make the other two frequencies work. And that is ensure you provide enough of the training stimulus to be effective, but not enough to cut into recovery. And for that same reason, the pitfall of this training frequency are a combination of the pitfall of the other two as well, albeit to a lesser degree. But the cons that I should just mention are actually also a pro. The thing is, because this is a moderate frequency, neither too high nor too low, and because it falls in the middle of the two extremes, it really kind of cancels out the biggest problems the other two frequencies faced. Think about it. With a once per week frequency, the main problem is the detraining and losing the progress you made during that full week when you are waiting to train each muscle group again, not to mention the time being wasted by waiting that long in the first place. With a 3 times per week frequency, the main problem is ensuring you do just enough to stimulate progress without exceeding that ideal amount and negatively impacting your ability to recover. But with a frequency of about twice per week, you sort of get the best of both worlds, while at the same time lessening the biggest drawbacks. It's frequent without being too frequent, yet just infrequent enough to not be too infrequent. So really, it's not too high and not too low. It could be just right. So let's see if it is. Is a twice per week training frequency optimal? For most of the people, most of the time, yes. And specifically, if you are an intermediate or an advanced trainee with any goal, a training frequency of twice or about twice per week is the most effective way to train. The most effective way to train. I consider an intermediate or advanced trainee to be anyone who is past the beginner stage. This would be an intermediate or advanced. And as always, this is not just my opinion, it's the opinion of every single qualified expert trainer and strength coach with Have a Brain. And once again, it's actually fully backed by science and real-world results. Literally all research and scientific studies looking at weight training frequency have come to the same conclusion that training each muscle group about twice per week, so between once every third or every 5 day, is the most effective way for an intermediate or advanced person to train. That means, with the exception of beginners who will do best with a 3 times per week frequency, the majority of the population will get the best results training each muscle group about twice per week. And yes, that applies to all goals. So let me make that even clearer. Who is a twice per week frequency best suited for? Training each muscle group twice or about twice per week tends to work best for the following people. First, most of the population, most of the time. Second, intermediate and advanced trainees who want to build muscle, increase strength, get toned, lose fat, improve athletic performance, or really do anything that involves improving the way their body looks or performs in virtually any capacity. It's not a coincidence that the majority of the most proven and intelligently designed weight training programs in existence happen to be built around this training frequency. It's just what flat out works better than anything else the majority of the time, regardless of your goal. Sure, other frequencies can work if everything else is done right. That's a fact. But again, this is not about what works. This is about what works best. And scientific research, real-world results, most expert recommendations, and my own first-hand experience all show that a training frequency where each muscle group gets trained somewhere between once every third day and once every fifth day is what works best most of the time. So who is a twice per week frequency least suited for? Pretty much beginners. Is it impossible this frequency could work for a beginner? Yeah, for sure. However, it is just not what will work best for them. It would work, but it would not work best for them. For a beginner, it would work best to do a full body workout 3 times per week. Beginners will get their best results with a 3 times per week full body or 3 times per week frequency. We're not talking about splits yet. Okay, what's next? Now that you know which weight training frequency is best for you, it's time to pick a workout split that best fits this ideal frequency as well as your schedule and training preference. This we will talk about in the next video. And again, if you are interested in more in-depth knowledge in the guidelines and the best exercises, the most important exercises, the best splits that have worked best, the best training programs that have worked best among hundreds of trainees, then download our ebook, the link you will find below. Thanks and have a nice day.